My name is Trevor Pearson. I'm a member of the boys basketball and baseball teams, including the 2018 state championship baseball team. At this time, it is my honor to welcome Jim White to the podium as he introduces Robbie White.
I'd like to congratulate the other individual inductees as well as the teams being inducted tonight, the girls cross-country teams and the girls indoor track teams. I am honored to be asked by Robbie to make this presentation on his behalf tonight, yet I find myself in an awkward position as a parent of bragging a little bit about some of his accomplishments tonight, and that's not something I'm very comfortable with doing. But in all fairness to him, I need to do a little bit of that. Like any other outstanding athlete in any sport or in any team, Robbie and those athletes spend thousands of years, whether it's in the pool, on the ice rink, or on the basketball courts, or the baseball fields, or on the track, or whatever sport it may be. During those times, Robbie had a lot of support from his mother, his brothers, his teammates, and his coaches. Robbie was an outstanding baseball player for the Witches. He remains the only baseball player in school history to be selected by the American Baseball Coaches Association as a high school All-American. Not only did he excel at baseball, his athleticism and versatility were evident through his four-sport participation in baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. As a football player, his agility and quickness as a wide receiver made him a force in the gridiron. In addition, he played on special teams, returning kickoffs and punts. After sustaining an injury in football his junior year, he made the difficult decision to stop playing football and to play soccer under Mike Jeffrey. His agility and his speed helped him to naturally transfer to the sport of soccer. In 1988, he was part of a rare elite class of Brewer athletes as a starting player on two Eastern Maine Class A championship teams in two different sports, very different sports of basketball and baseball. He starting guard on the championship basketball team. He was an excellent playmaker. He would often throw no-look passes to help with inside scoring. He was also a very good three-point shooter and a defensive player. In addition to his athletic talents, he was a leader both off and on the field, serving as captain of the baseball team his senior year and as president of his class for 2 years. He enjoyed all four sports, but it was baseball that was his favorite. His first formal playing days of baseball were in the Brewer Little League. He was very fortunate to have played 4 years under the legendary coaches of Slip Corey and Bob DeBeck. He had a lot of good coaches over the years, but standing at the top of the list were Slip Corey, Bob DeBeck, Mike Jeffrey, and Dennis Kaya. Robbie made a big impact on the Brewer baseball program beginning his sophomore year in 1986. In his first debut ever as a pitcher, he snapped Bangor's 25-game winning streak, beating the Rams 2-1, allowing only one hit. And only that one hit was hit out of the infield. He went 4-0 as a pitcher that year. He was the type of a player who was a spark plug and played with a lot of passion and intensity. At great speed on the base paths, stealing 24 bases out of 24 attempts. He was an impact player, hit with a high average at .393 his junior year and .404 his senior year. He could hit with power, had a live arm, winning 12 games and losing 4 for the Witches. As the shortstop and second baseman, he covered a great deal of ground defensively. In 1986, Robbie helped to lead the Brewer Falcons to the American Legion Zone 1 co-championship and third place in the state tournament. He led the team with a .476 batting average, 40 hits, 25 runs batted in, and 27 runs scored. He batted .429 in the tournament and was selected to the first team all-tournament team. In the first game of that American Legion State Tournament, the Brewer Falcons faced the formidable Andrews Post of Portland, who had been state champions for the past 3 years. Robbie pitched a great game, being relieved after the 6th inning with the score tied 2-2. Even though the Falcons did not win that game, the importance of it was learning what it took and the sacrifice that it took to play and compete with the best. That is an intangible quality for all great athletes and teams, no matter what the sport may be. Robbie's high school baseball coach, Dennis Kyer, said Robbie was one of the most reliable athletes he ever coached. He said he was outstanding and the player that he wanted to have the ball in his hand. In 1988, under Coach Dennis Kyer, the Witches lost the first game of the season 2-1, and then went on to win 18 games in a row, becoming Eastern Maine Class A champions. Brewer beat Skowhegan 7-0 in the quarterfinals as Robbie pitched a 2-hitter and also hit a home run. Brewer then went on in the semifinals to beat Bangor Rams. In the finals of Eastern Maine, Brewer beat Lawrence 7-0 with Robbie pitching a 3-hitter and also hitting another home run. It's kind of interesting that in those 2 games, his brother Chad also hit a home run in each of those games. That was pretty awesome for a parent to have 2 brothers hit 2 home runs in the same playoff games. Robbie was selected to the 1988 Class A First Team State for the state of Maine, the District 1 All-New England, New York First Team, and 3rd Team High School All-American by the American Baseball Coaches Association. Robbie later played shortstop on the 1993 Huston College team. John Kolosinski, the Huston coach, said Robbie played a vital role in the success of the baseball team that won the District 3 NAIA Division III championship for the first time since 1976. During that year, there were 2 games that had a special meaning, as it marked the first time and the last time that Robbie played against his brother Chad, who was the center fielder at the University of Maine. I sat behind the backstop, silently cheering for both teams. Maine won the first game, and Hudson beat Maine in the second game for the first time in 36 games, which Robbie got a couple of key hits. Robbie and his brothers Chad and Jamie also finally played on the same team together in the Eastern Maine Amateur League later on, and all 3 were selected in the All-Star team that played against a group of former Boston Red Sox players called the Boston Gray Sox, including Bob Stanley, Bill Lee, Bernie Cabo, and many others. Robbie, I'm very proud of you. You will notice he had the same genetics as I had in terms of hairstyle. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm proud to introduce my son.
Well, I don't know how I can top that. I'd like to thank the other inductees and congratulate them for getting into the Hall of Fame this year. And I'd like to congratulate the indoor track teams that are getting put in the cross country. I would especially like to thank my mother and father for supporting me all through the years, and for all the time in helping me to learn and play baseball. In addition, I'd like to thank my brothers Chad and Jamie for their support. I would also like to say that, you know, we have some pretty crazy games out in the backfield every now and then. And I love you guys, and you guys are great. Baseball probably was my best sport and my passion. I had a lot of great coaches over the years, as Dad said, but I would like to thank them personally. 3 come to mind in particular. Slip Corey, Bob DeBeck, and Dennis Kyle. Bob and Slip, like my dad said, were my Little League coaches, and they taught me how to really play the game. And they were my coaches for 4 years. Dennis Kaya was my high school baseball coach, my freshman, and my senior year. Dennis was also the coach my senior year when we went on to win the Eastern Maine Championship in baseball. Like Dad said, our record was 18 wins, 2 losses for the year. I want to emphasize that was a great team. It wasn't all about individuals. It was about being a great team and being great teammates. It's a pretty unique thing to happen that 6 out of the 9 starters went on to play college baseball from that team. It's a great honor to be recognized here today. Now that I'm in and Chad's in, it's just unbelievable. I'm very honored to receive this award, and thank you guys very much. You guys have a great week.